he sucked the second toe off. So until she just had the one big toe. And he sucked and sucked and sucked and could not suck the big toe off.
Ladies, gentlemen, them, they, and all, it's showtime! Ha-ha! Although when we do say showtime, we do use that term very loosely, as what we've got in store for you today, well, our presenters have really no idea what they're gonna say because they're all unprepared. So strap yourselves in and brace yourself as the Some Nobodies present PowerPoint Showdown. So start that round of applause as we welcome this week's keynote speaker.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for yet another conference. This one is a super special one, so if you're here, I'm glad because you're in for a treat. Tonight, you're going to be hearing from 4 professionals, as always. Now, the difference with this week is that normally we have a conference, and I have to scour the entire world looking for the number one, the one professional, the one knowledge bearer that has the most amount of news on the topic at hand. But before we chose the topic, Whiskey Dick Willie, he reached out to us and he says, I'm the foremost knowledge bearer on this week's subject. So we're like, oh, I guess now we know what the topic is going to be. So I guess he pushed this into us, or he knew what we were going to have. Either way, he's here. And the topic of the week is going to be psychic abilities in human beings. Now, with me, as always, we have Dylan. How do you say brackets, dude? What am I supposed to think that?
Yes.
Oh, shit. It's weird for an audio medium, but I'll try to make it work. We always have Mad Mike with us, straight out of Scurvyville. How are you, Mad Mike?
It's nice to be here.
Got that salt in his voice. I absolutely love that. Now, our special guest of the week is going to be Mr. Whiskey Dick Willie, alien abductee and former psychic. Yes, he knows it all, seen it all. He's got multiple eyes to see everything. How are you, sir?
I'm okay today. I'm okay today. Today's going
okay
good.
Today. You're ready to teach us a couple things that we need to know about this.
I need to. I mean, the public needs to be informed. The public has got to know the truth about what's going on with these psychic powers and where they're coming from. So we got to educate the public today.
Yeah, and like you said backstage, you needed to cover up that third eye of yours to make sure that
it's slipping. It's slipping just a little. We can't let that in there again.
All right. Well, we'll get to you very soon, so please don't let it slip too much. Now, for those who are joining us for the first time, each speaker is going to be given roughly 10 minutes to present our topic of the week. Once again, psychic abilities in human beings. Now, after each presentation, there'll be a short Q&A from the panel. And, of course, we invite all members of the audience to ask as many questions as they deem fit, or at least that their thumbs will allow. And after the 4th presentation, obviously, we're going to be doing a winner. We're going to be judging to see who wins the coveted $50,000 scholarship from Some Nobodies University and the Nostalgia Prize of the week, which, thanks to Michael Colby, I have already unwrapped. I have ready. I'm not looking for it. And what it is a tiny die cast of Barney, the purple dinosaur.
I knew that.
Yeah, he knew that. Yeah. So I guess this is a cute little, he's got goggles on, which is great. Nice little scarf. So that plus the $50,000, I think that's sufficient. Now listen, guys, we have some adieus as always, but we're going to put them on later. I'm going to ask for my presentation so we can get on with this. I don't know what I was going to say. We're going to say show. Now, the one thing that we really wanted to discuss when talking about psychic abilities, especially in human beings, is psychic studies. Now, there's methodology and results. Now, this is why I wanted to link science with psychic abilities. A lot of people will tell you psychic abilities are not real. I have put together a comprehensive list of methodologies and results, and I want to get through them with you today just to prove to you without a shadow of a doubt that there are psychic abilities. Now, if we can get over to the next slide, pretty please. Now, table of contents, obviously, before we get on with anything, I got 8 slides here. We've already seen slide 1. This is slide 2. No need to put those in the contents. Now, what you're going to be seeing in the future, if you had not already figured this out, you're going to see the project requirements, project goals. Now, the project, though, is going to be a quick description of project, in case that wasn't very self-explanatory. Requirements. This is a necessary components of our study. I'm going to show you everything that I've gathered. I'm going to show you the things that I needed to get done and required before this. There's also some project goals, which is what we're going to hope to learn with this experiment. I tell you, I learned something. Number 6 is going to be a sneak peek. There's going to be a special surprise for the audience. So please stay here until at least slide 6, where you're going to get, trust me, a special surprise. Now, slide 7, we're going to get the results. I'm going to lay it all out there for you, what we've learned along the way. And number 8, in conclusion, it's going to be a final slide of the presentation. That kind of sums up what we do here. Felt like I should put this in there for any newcomers. Next slide, please. All right, number 3, the project. Now, we're going to test whether human beings are capable of reading each other's minds using highly sophisticated techniques. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to read Dylan, in parentheses, his mind. I'm going to use a very highly sophisticated technique here. Now, the sophisticated technique that I'm going to use, most people will do a 2-finger to the temple. I don't do that. I find that to be unsophisticated. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my thumb right in between my 2 eyes and a pinky towards the person that I'm trying to get in contact with. That way, they know, A, I'm trying. So they open themselves up. Obviously, you can see it on Dylan. It is working. Now, I'm pretty sure that I've just proven with this very sophisticated technique that I can do that. Next slide, please. Okay, now the requirements. Earlier, I told you we're going to go through this. Now we're going through this. Now, ideally, the willing participants in a very sterile environment. Willing participants, that's why I brought Dylan. A sterile environment, which is why I brought Mad Mike along. Now, realistically, someone to experiment on and somewhere to experiment. We're going virtually, and I've chosen Whiskey Dick Willie as the person to experiment on. I've already started. He knows it. You guys will find out later. Next slide, please. Project goals. And this is going to be an easy one, guys. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to induce and record examples of human-based psychic phenomena. Now, there's 3 main ways I can do that. 1, reveal the deepest desires of the human mind. I'll start this with Dylan. Dylan's deepest desire of his human mind. Wasn't that exciting. It was actually sleep. I really thought something nasty was going to be in there. Seems like Dylan just needs some sleep. You should take a nap, buddy. Okay, next. 2. Right? 2. It's 2. Maybe I'll back away. 2 fingers. Crocodile Dundee style. We're going to identify and record hidden trauma. I'm going to identify it quickly. Right there it is. And I'm going to record it on my piece of paper that I have ready. Now, if you are psychic, you'll know exactly what I wrote down, exactly what I recorded. And number 3, we're going to expose deeply rooted hopes and fears. I'm going to tune into Mad Mike on this one. Now, I'm going to look for some deeply rooted hopes and fears. Now, I see that he shaved his head for this, which is good because it makes it harder for me to get to those roots. There it is. I figured it out. Oof. That is sad, my friend. I'm not going to expose that because obviously these are your deep rooted ones, and it's not fair of me to dox you like this. Once again, if you're psychic and you got these skills that you'll learn later on that you would have learned earlier, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about and exactly what we all just witnessed here. Jay Hunter, pun time. Here he goes. All right. Next slide, please. All right, now the sneak peek, and now a very special surprise for the audience at home. I actually couldn't find a picture of this because now I don't know if you guys understand this or not, but unless you have the proper filter on your Snapchat, there's no way to see psychic phenomenon. I don't have a Snapchat because my tablet is too old for that. And every time I take pictures of it, I'm looking through all these pixels and I'm trying to figure out this might be a surprise for people at home. Now, I wasn't going to bore you with these vague images or anything, so I'm just going to let you psychically feel the surprise. And if I could just gauge on your faces exactly how surprised you are. Dylan's pretty surprised. Whiskey Dick's very surprised. Mad Mike has. Oh shit, he's actually very surprised. Okay, cool, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted you guys to see. Next slide, please. Okay, now the results. Civilian. Now, can we use psychic powers for the greater or sexy good? Yeah, we can. But the question isn't if we can. The question is, should we? Should we enforce sexy psychic abilities on people, especially if they're greater than me? I think so, because they're greater than me. If they didn't want it, they should psychically block it. It's kind of the same thing. I don't just go out there not looking to be catcalled. Bring it on. That's why I wear this skirt. Number 2, economic. Can we make the stock market work for us? Yeah. The problem is that you're looking at tomorrow's stock market instead of yesterday's. If you're looking at yesterday's stock market, you would have seen exactly what you should have done. And if you would have looked at yesterday's stock market 2 days ago in the future of yesterday, you would have already had your money down and realized that Bitcoin is not that good of a thing. Now, military? The Department of Defense needs a new toy. Now, is this it? And they've tried this many times. They've tried this with people working with goats. There was a movie. They've tried this with people working with cows. There was a movie. They've tried this with people working with children. There was a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But have they tried with people using this as a podcast medium? That, my friends, is the movie I need to see. Next slide, please. Now, in conclusion, I've already answered the upcoming questions, as you already know. Please only ask yes or no questions, and I'll reveal the answers thusly. I honestly don't even know how to understand why I put this slide in here. But listen, I need you to ask yes or no. Oh, sorry, Dylan. Can you make any sense of this psychically?
Oh, I think you're ready to begin the Q&A section.
Oh, this is the Q&A section. And okay.
I think after we ask you've already written the answers down, and I think after we ask the questions, you'll reveal the answers that you have pre-written.
Because this is 8A.
Yes.
And there's an 8B as I loaded up already.
Mm-hmm. I'm reading your mind to explain to you how to do this.
That's what I was looking for. And that's how I needed to prove to everyone on here that this is a real thing. Because if I can get someone else to do these slides with/for/with me, then you'll know that there is a link. Dylan is not in the room with me. So I'm going to need you, please. I'm going to start with Willie Whiskey Dick Will. If you could please ask me a yes or no question. I've already answered this.
Is the military trying to use people with psychic powers currently?
Oh,
that's what I want to know.
Very good question. I've already answered that. Mad Mike, please. Oh, absolutely not. The very notion offends me that the military is using this currently. They're not. And the thought of it would offend me. Mad Mike, please ask a yes or no question, which I've already answered. I wish I'd known how this thing worked better.
Is it?
Is it? Well,
is it?
Obviously, 100%. And I'll never change that answer.
Good.
100%, Michael.
That's what I needed to know.
100%. Dylan, please, yes or no?
Are you a church-going man?
Well, yeah. But only on Sundays when God's watching. Because you know what? He's not around 6 of the 7 days. That dude's got shit to do. But on that 7th day, you bet your bottom dollar I'm in church. No, listen, guys.
I had a feeling it was relevant.
Well, as the psychic you are, you knew what the answer was going to be wildly before me. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. This has been my presentation on psychic abilities. I think I have proven thus that there are psychic abilities, that I have taught people throughout this duration of presentation, that I have I've influenced Dylan to read my mind. I've influenced Mad Mike to stop reading my mind. I've influenced Whiskey Dick to be prepared to read his own mind. So if anybody has any questions, thank you very much for the time.
Oh, I do have actual questions about the presentation, actually.
I'm trying to say your name with like a squint to let you know that it's in my mind.
Oh, I knew you were calling on me.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
For the sake of the audio format, Dylan.
Of course, thank you. Now, in your experimentation, did you take the effect of fluoride calcifying the third eye into your conclusion?
Knowing that you were going to be on this, I kind of went third eye blind for this one. I'm sorry, I don't know why that. There was just way too much snot. Just fell out
I
of my
wish
nose.
you would step back from that ledge, my friend.
No, mute your mic. Mad Mike, does anybody else have any questions before we move on with the oh shit. Mad Mike, please.
Are they?
100%. Thank you
I
for
thought
asking
so.
again. Yeah, I knew that. Whiskey Dick, did you have a question? I can't really tell.
The percentages. What are the percentages? I want to know the numbers
Of what?
of the psychics that have been abducted, because I know there's a link there, there's a connection there, and we're missing that. We're missing that somewhere, and we gotta make that connection somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, cool. Well, there we go. I was actually going to get into it real deep, but Jay Hunter was very clear that this was 100%. So 100% of psychics that have been abducted are the ones that you're talking about. So,
I believe that. That's what happened to me. And yeah.
Well, we're about to get into it. I have no more questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, folks, very much. That was my time. Up next, we have the county famous Whiskey Dick Willie.
Yes.
Let's see.
Yes.
Bring up if we can get his producer.
Thank you for. Yeah, I'm ready for the presentation. Thank you for the. Yeah, can I get the first slide on the monitor, please? The psychic powers. I'm just going to show you what's going on here, because see, I was abducted by aliens. 34 years ago. 34 years ago, I was abducted, and I had psychic powers for 12 years. For 12 years, I had psychic powers. I was able to do things. I'm going to show you how they do these things. So next slide. Next slide, please. Wait. We're gonna okay. All right. Now this is the most requested. People always want to know about the zanglassity that's going on here, and that's the ability to speak foreign languages without the natural means, such as this. They like the churches and stuff. They like to call it tongues, but it's zanglassy is what it is. Xanoglassy. And there's been a lot of research on it, a lot of study, and some actual facts. So watch this. I'm gonna tell you some alien dialect that I learned a long time ago. It was Nick Knock Flarney Flew, which is bend over. I'm gonna put this in. Is what that means in alien. That's one of the languages that I can speak now that I didn't know before. I didn't know it. But the aliens abducted me. They gave me psychic powers, and now I speak all these different languages. So the next slide. The next slide. Thank you. That's the most requested that we talked about there. People want to be able to talk to whoever they want to talk to. But the least requested thing is in India. In India is the ability to survive for hours at a time without eating or drinking. And the reason that this is least requested, especially here in America, is because we're full of gluttons. Everybody's got to have more. They want more. I've had all I can stand, but I want more. I need more. I need a little bit more. And nobody wants to go hours and hours without eating or drinking. We're always filling our bellies. That's you got to fill your bellies in order to be sustaining. Because I tell you what, when you're weak like that, that's when the aliens get you. When you don't have that sustenance, that's when the aliens get you. So you got to be aware. In these times. It's especially hard times. And the reason that I'm telling you guys this is because they're coming back. And they're going to be taking more people for their psychic suppositories. They're going to be grabbing more people and putting these things in their asses so that they can tell the future. And that's why whenever you hear somebody talking about the future, they're like, you're just talking out your ass. Well, of course they are. That's where the psychic suppository is. A lot of people, but you do got to watch the third eye. But the brown eye is what they're really after. The brown eye is what. Next slide, please. Can we get to the next slide? I'm sorry. I'm exasperating it a little too much here. Astral project. Okay, good. This is the speed run, folks. This is where we really get interesting. We got astral projection on the list for you. That's a very important tool that they use, because I tell you something, if you put your mind there, your ass is going to follow. You know what I mean? So what you do with astral projection is the ability to take yourself out of your body. You go somewhere else, because who wants to be here? You know what I mean? I always want to be there. I don't want to be here. So I like to astral project myself most places. I don't usually spend time where I'm at. Who wants to spend time where they're at? I want to, even when I'm here, I want to be there. So I use astral projection. This is the speed round, so I should go a little faster. Billication. We got billication is on here as well. That's the ability to be somewhere else, but also here. So that's being two places at the same time. My mother was really good at that because she always knew what I was doing wrong. She had a lot of billication abilities. She must have been apprehended by the aliens a few years before I was born and gotten the psychic suppository then. And then, of course, we got to move on here. We got to keep going. Levitation, and we all know that that's the ability to float, to be up there. And Chris Angel, he's one that's been known to levitate from place to place. And I've seen him on the alien ships, or actually we like to call them moon boats in the circles that I run in. We don't like to call them like flying saucers or anything like that. We like to call them moon boats. That was the phrase that we got into. But me and Chris Angel, we were on a moon boat together, and I was actually there when he learned levitation. That was a very interesting time. And witnessing. We got to move on here to witnessing. That's the ability to be seen to see high profile spirits. Queen Elizabeth is the biggest witness they have right now. People can see her all around England. They took her on a tour. But now the people who have psychic abilities, they didn't have to wait in line for 24 hours. They just had to wait until now her spirit is passing around England and the rest of the UK. And there's a whole nother viewing going on right now in the spirit world. But you got to be very careful of the spirit world. A lot of people, did you know that 50% of women feel that they've been touched by a spirit at one point or another? I'll get to the other 50% as soon as I can. Next slide, please. Okay. Yeah. So people say that they were born with it. Was I born with it? No, I was not born with it. I was taken in an alien spaceship, and they gave me what is called a psychic suppository. And I'm telling you, they shoved these. It's like a little bullet thing. Like, did you see Man on Fire? It's kind of like a capsule, sort of like that. And they shove it up there. It's got all sorts of these lights. Now, I lost my psychic ability because I pooped mine out. Like, whenever it comes out, you're supposed to shove it back in there. But I pooped mine out. I lost it in the toilet somewhere. Although I have been experimenting on getting my psychic abilities back with butt plugs. I've been using butt plugs to try and get my psychic abilities back since I lost the psychic suppository that the aliens gave me. Now, I dodged this question for decades. I really did, because people always wanted to know if I could always tell the future. And but right now, I'm going to go ahead and open up and tell you that I wasn't born with it. It happened when I was 13. 34 years ago. I was 13 years old, and I was abducted by aliens. And that's what I'm telling you. Alien powers are what give you psychic abilities. It is the alien psychic suppository. I have photos, but I'm not going to show you those photos. I refuse to put those images in your head and illustrate that. It's very all right. Am I going to show? I don't know. What's the next slide? Is the next slide a photo? Oh, yes, the scary parallel. There are many different universes, and there are many different parallels, and the aliens visit them all. They go to all of them. None of us are safe. It doesn't matter what version of yourself you feel like. We're not safe. We're just not. And as you can see, there's a lot of up and down with the scary parallels, but they go pretty much hand in hand. They follow each other real closely. Next slide. Now, two stories of some animals, some psychic animals that were found in Virginia. Because here's the thing, like a lot of people, we're talking about humans today. There have been cases of psychic in animals. and Mars, they found it on Mars a soap carrying black cat with a heart of gold, but a purse made of bat skin. And that's actually why the cat was able to live on Mars, is because it had bat skin. Bat skin is very protective and was able to withstand all the elements of the atmosphere on Mars. But the soap just helps keep it clean because it can't lick itself. It's not the same texture. It freaks the cat out because of the bat skin. And then, of course, on Jupiter, they found a pickpocketing parrot without a master, and it was hoarding sticks and Bluetooth earbuds. I do believe its former master was Justin Bieber. I think that's who owned it previously. Justin Bieber was the owner of the pickpocketing parrot. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. Next slide, please. And now, see, here we go. This is the truth. The truth unveils itself, because right here, this is where the magic happens. I just got to say, in conclusion, that if you want to have psychic powers, then you need to flag yourself down an alien spaceship and let them know. Let them know, hey, look, I'm ready. I'm ready for the psychic suppository. But it's not the life you think it is. It's not the life you think it is. I've been out of the game few years now. I haven't been able to tell the future for a few years. And that's how I had a run of bad luck. Broke about 7,000 mirrors. So I don't know what that equates to in years. But things are going to be going bad for a long time. But if you want psychic abilities, get yourself some alien anal. And that's what's going to do it for you. That's what's going to hook you up with the power to know the future. You just got to let an alien bend you over, and yeah, that's how it happens. That's hocus pocus. That's where the magic happens, baby. Oh, do we have questions? I know that there's supposed to be questions.
Yes, there's most likely going to be some. Dylan, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Okay. I have one very simple question, and it's relevant to the hocus pocus. Is this your card?
Whoa.
By golly, that is my card.
I thought so. Thank you.
I thought with wearing this, you wouldn't see it. And I thought I was trying to disconnect, but no.
The card doesn't have a tinfoil hat on.
Worthless. Ah. Next question.
Mad Mike, did you have a question?
Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you for your presentation. It was very articulate and concise. Now, my question was the psychic suppository. Now, where does that go again?
Oh, it goes in your ass. It goes right up the poop chute. And generally, this is why whenever I go out walking at night, I always have a bottle of Astroglide. I keep that handy on me. Just in case of an alien abduction, because it seems to be the number one thing that they go for. When they come in their moon boats, they're just looking to bend you over.
Oh, well, luckily I always have at least a quart of Astroglide on me at all times.
Yeah. It makes things smoother. That's for sure. Now it's less invasive.
I also had a question, Whiskey Dick Willie, if that's okay. Now, is the only way to be psychic through the use of aliens, or is there any, I was under the impression that it was a phenomenon, Earth-based phenomenon, to be linked mind to mind. Is it only the suppository?
So there is a lot of work being done. There's a book right now called Psychic Abilities by Gianna Portier. It is an essential guide to developing psychic abilities, but I do suggest reading it with a butt plug in, and perhaps a butt plug that has like an LED light on it, because the psychic suppositories were always very blinky. So I think having the LED butt plug in while you read that book would be very helpful, because there is a lot of work being done for natural psychic abilities. But as for right now, it's just the alien suppositories that are causing the psychic. The psychic suppositories are what cause psychic abilities. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got that. Does make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
And Jay makes a great point there. If you ever notice, homosexuals know the future better than anybody. They're more accepting of what's happening. You know, they're on board.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time. You were 100% right. You are a master in the things that you definitely know. Up next, after the hacksaw Jim Duggan of psychic abilities, we're going to bring up Mr. Dylan inside of parentheses. What are they, brackets? Oh, that's a good face, man. That's a good face. All right, if you're ready to go, my friend, we'll get can the producers pretty please? Oh, it's already up. Okay. Oh, shit.
Okay, we're doing this. Cool. Yield Terry, Psychic Academia. Welcome, Cosmic Warriors. I'm astrologer Dylan Solomon Alberforth Kevin Terry, and this is Psychic Academia, a brief course or curse dedicated to all things psychic. Today, we'll learn how to tap into some of our abilities. No need for a crystal ball. These gifts are already embedded deep within your spirit. Next slide, please.
I'm into this already.
Our table of contents. First, knowledge. You got to know the shit you don't know. It's important. You got to reach deep into the astral plane, as my previous presenter emphasized, and really pull out the knowledge you can find. Number 2, ingredients. You got to get the shit you don't have. And by shit, I mean the metaphorical astral shit, the knowledge that you don't have. Or reagents or components, I think is some terms that they use in the occult circles. And number 3, you need instructors or peers. You got to know the bitches you don't know. You got to find people who can teach you. Hold on. Okay, we're good. You got to find the people who can teach you the shit you don't know that they don't know, with things they don't have in the places you aren't. He left. He's not here, so he's going to be the teacher this week.
Oh, he's here. 4. He's just hiding.
Ugh, God. Number 4, follow through. You got to hide the shit you didn't mean to do. You got to hide the shit you didn't mean to do. Sometimes shit goes wrong when you go into the astral plane. It happens. You got to hide it. Just like when you do sigildry, when you draw a little sigil that you go in through your goal in chaos magic and do your little sigil thing inside the circle, you got to hide it. You got to forget about it. That way it's in the world and it's manifesting things without your knowledge. Let's go to the next slide, please. Man, this font is fucking with me. Introduction. Before we begin, to prove I'm the right one to give you this knowledge, you know what? I'll have to show you instead of telling you. Sit tight. Bring him back.
Wow, how'd you do that?
Next slide, please.
Damn, that was cool.
Number 1, knowledge. We were already at number 1. We're back to number 1. Welcome back, Whiskey Dick. Quick list of terms you'll be seeing in this presentation and what they mean. Please don't interrupt. Fenestra, Mors Mordra, Sectum Sempra, Aurania Eximi, Avada Kedavra, and Aberto. That's Aberto with no L. Alberto is someone different. He's a master you don't know you need. I'm not going to define these terms yet. You'll hear them later in the presentation. Maybe. I might try to work them in, or you might just need to not know the shit you need to know. Damn. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now, these are my teaching methods. You see the little crystal ball there. It's just, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm too rich for my blood. We're going to practice some hands-on learning. If you don't know what I feel like, you can't do what I do psychically. I hardly know what I feel like. Good luck. The goals. My goals, not yours. I psychically know yours already. Your goal, you don't know. That's the goal of this presentation. And feedback. I'll begin it quickly and harshly. Mostly, I'm trying to psychically break you down before you can fight me back physically. Psychically? Both of them. Why not? Excuse me. I just engaged in some spiritual warfare and I'm a little congested. Let's go to the next slide, please. My psychic student teachers, of course, any good psychic or occultist needs their adjunct faculty and their teaching assistants and their grad students who do thankless work for little pay and have to get secondary jobs at like grocery stores or something like that. We're going to talk about Topaz Moon. She's a new member, recruiter, and psychic onboarder. She goes out and finds people who don't know they're going to be psychic yet and don't know they're going to join up yet and makes them join up before they know they're joining up. We have Rainbow Healer, psychic HR, and team trainer. You have to have HR, you know. It's human resources, if you didn't know. They protect the organization from claims, stuff like that. And Susan Bones, she's a psychic email responder. She doesn't respond. Well, she does respond, but it doesn't seem like responses. She cold emails people, but they're actually responses sent out before we get the emails back. Usually those emails are like halfway completed before they go, oh, I guess you knew what I was going to say, so I guess I'll just respond to your email. And by the time they've already typed that out, we've sent them a second email answering their questions. You can be one of these people if you like. You probably just don't know it yet. Let's go to the next slide, please. Future Medicine Man by Karen Kritzinger. I find it's good to focus my mental energy by reciting little rhymes and songs and limericks. We'll see which one of those this is. A medicine man looked into Little Eagle's eyes. You are misnamed, he told him. You have the spirit of a cougar. You should have been a little cougar. Little Eagle instantly understood, for cougar was his totem. He related to her. She came to him in his dreams. She will teach you ferocity, the medicine man told him. She also helps me navigate psychic realms, Little Eagle said. Medicine man was astounded at the child's insight. You may possibly have more than one spirit animal, he told him. Future medicine men often do. This was brought to me by one of my adjunct faculty, and I hadn't really had a chance to run it through any readers or anything, so I'm not sure how accurate it is. But we're going to assume that there's some deeply held messages in there about, I don't know, maybe you don't know what you are yet before you know what you are when you find out what you are. Let's go to the next slide. Here's a number. In the next 3 days, 350,000 psychic attempts will be made on your psychic life. What that means, it could be assaults, it could be thief attempts. This would be going very smoother if I was talking mindfully, like with my brain. But 350,000 of these are going to happen over the next 3 days, so you better watch out and prep. I feel like I've lost the thread of what I was going for, but let's go to the next slide before I get too far behind. Now, in conclusion, now being a psychic is a lot like reading from the tarot. And you pull a card, and you try a seance. You pull a card, and you kill a little bird and drink its blood. And you pull a card, and sometimes that card is the hanged man. Sometimes it's the devil. Sometimes it's the knight of knives. Sometimes it's the celery juice. And when you get the celery juice, that's when you know that you're going to have the psychic fiber to pass through the astral plane.
Oh. Bring it around town.
Bring it back around to all that shit you don't know in the astral plane. And that is the conclusion of my presentation. Except for... Now you got it.
Oh.
I'll take any questions now. Mad Mike.
Yes, thank you for the pitch to join your school or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm glad that came through. I wasn't
now,
sure about myself.
I'm a little bit concerned because you gave a very great presentation, but not with the words you were saying, with the mental images that were coming into my brain. And I was just wondering if those mental images are going to go out to the people watching this later on YouTube or listening to it on the podcast.
Well, the audio format of this is probably not the best way to consume it. Instead, if you wish to see the video format, go to YouTube, look up Some Nobodies. You can watch all of our PowerPoint showdowns, including this episode, which if you're currently watching, you are currently watching. But if you're listening to it, go watch the visual one. It has a lot more stuff going on. Go to patreon.com/Some Nobodies to get behind the scenes or something like that. I don't know what we have on there anymore.
Just behind the scenes.
Let's hear from Whiskey Dick Willie.
Yeah. I had a question. That Topaz Moon, isn't she the one? Isn't she the one that heads up making sure that people don't know that aliens are the reason that people have psychic abilities? I'm pretty sure that she heads that task force. That's Topaz Moon. I've had interactions with her before, and she does not. She likes to keep secret that aliens are the reason. You know, I could be wrong. About Topaz Moon. I think she's a lovely lady. She's always been good to me in the past, and I don't I don't know why anyone would ever say anything negative about
The
Tobasco.
lead of my psychic HR team has just remote told me to not comment on our staff's previous ventures into the astral realm.
That was nice.
And ESP Ashley Wiseman.
Thank you for pronouncing that correctly. I did have a question. First and foremost, thank you very much. That was illuminating, and I think that I got to sign up for your school or cult, one of those two. Of the 350,000 psychic attempts that we made on my psychic life, would you mind describing a few of them, or is it 350,000 of the exact same type of attack?
No, they vary. One of them tries to make you poop your pants. One of them tries to steal your social security number. One of them tries to make you poop your pants and then write your social security number on the mirror. And one of them tries to make you put your cat outside, even though it's not an outdoor cat.
Oh,
just to name a few.
The four main ones.
What?
I said just the four main
ones?
ones?
Yes. They're not very creative.
No, I love that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
If we have any other questions?
I think we're done.
Okay, perfect. Excellent job. Ye old Terry Psychic Academy. All right, let's see. We have one to do. Nobody cares about that. We're going to get on to Mr. Mad Mike and the salty shit he's got to spew.
Thank you for having me. Now, we've heard a lot of things today. We've had the ravings of a madman. We've had a selling of a school and whatever the fuck Zach's was about. I wasn't paying attention. But I have been through the psychic war of 2012. I'm actually from another reality. So what I want to talk to you about is some real shit. This is the real stuff that's really going on. You guys haven't experienced it yet. You have about 100 more years, so you better learn this stuff and burn it into your mind so that when it comes, you're not surprised. This is about the Stargate Project and others. The U.S. government experimentation with psychic phenomena. Now, this is going to lead to the psychic war. I think for this reality, it's 2112. So we have a little bit of time to train up your psychic abilities and get ready for the government who is coming for you. Next slide, please. This is real. I'm not going to be making any jokes. This is a true fact. I have come from another dimension to warn you. Now, we like to have fun here on this show and in life, but the projects described in this presentation actually happened. They happened in my world, and they're happening now in your world. Seriously. This is a comedy show, but Stargate Project and others were formed by the real CIA. Really real U.S. government shit. The time frame, the CIA spent almost 20 years studying clairvoyance and precognition. Now, this happened 60 years ago already. They know everything they need to know. Now, the public record, you can go and read about it, but the CIA, the CIA declassified everything in the mid-90s, but 88% of it is redacted. You can't find out the real thing unless you go to unless you go to patreon.com/some nobodies. They have the real exclusive documents there. You can read them. You'll know what to prepare for. It's just on the $5 a month level. Next slide, please. The USA wasn't the only crazy team. Stargate Project was started by the CIA because of concerns about reported Soviet investigations into psychic phenomena. Now, Gorbachev started looking into the CIA, looking into the psychic phenomena, but nobody I can't help how I can't I can't help how I sound. This is just how I sound. I went through a fucking war, for Christ's sake. Now, you're making this very hard for me. I'm trying to do not a comedy show. I'm trying to warn people about the real threat of Putin and his psychic abilities. The CIA and Russia are working together on this. It's like a real life Stranger Things. And I will now summarize the first 4 seasons of Stranger Things in excruciating detail. Some kids were playing D&D. One of them got sucked into an upside down world with a monster. There was a girl with psychic powers, and then some boring stuff happened, and then apparently some people died. Next slide, please. Now, here's some Stargate project terms. Here's some terms that the teams use in the Stargate project. Now, the initial program, Scan It, aka Scan by Coordinate, was researched. Nuclear testing sites, nude pictures of Soviet leaders. This is where we found out that Gorbachev had the same giant birthmark on his genitals that he has on his forehead. I hate everyone who's trying to prevent me. If I can't get this information out into the world, you're all going to die. I can return to my reality at any time, but you can't. Well, you can, but I'm not going to let you because you're trying to turn this into a big joke. Now, eventually, they rebranded into Stargate. They spent more than $20 million on Stargate, which is a drop in the bucket for the American military system. Over 40 personnel and as many as 22 full-time viewers at once. They fell into an alternate universe, and that alternate universe was mine. We learned all that we needed to know about psychic abilities. We fought the war. We won the war. You haven't. And if you don't let me fucking finish my presentation, you never will. Next slide, please. Results. Allegedly, a bunch of targets found which weren't located by other methods, including nuclear testing sites and crash bombers. Supposedly, this project was shut down in the 90s because the overwhelming amount of data generated by the viewers is vague, general, and way off target. That's true, but that's how you use your psychic abilities. You don't get full psychic images. You get parts of it, and you have to put them together into the actual message that they're trying to send. And then pop culture, 4 seasons of acceptable but overhyped streaming television happened. And the problem is that people are going to think that that's what you need to win the war. But it's all propaganda from the enemy who want you to watch this. I wouldn't even call it acceptable. I would call it the most the most overrated piece of garbage television I've ever seen. Now, next slide, please. Other wacky shit the government spent tax dollars on. Project Blue Book. What are UFOs? I'm sorry. What are space boats? And how can we weaponize them? Human docking procedures. What that is, if you don't know what human docking is, it's when 2 uncircumcised men put their penises together and then they put the foreskins over top so they're like together. It's way more pleasurable than it sounds, but still there's better ways to do it. Acoustic kitty. We can turn cats into spies by implanting them with microphones and transmitters. They do this for every house pet. It's just what happens. It doesn't affect any sort of psychic things. I don't know why I put that in there. Project Artichoke, hypnosis, and LSD. The LSD does unlock your psychic potentials, and MGK Ultra. We are going to just skip that entirely because that was completely made up by the government to again make you think that this there was different ways to win the psychic war, but the U.S. government is your enemy in this, and you have to remember that. No matter who's in charge, they all are trying to psychically damage the American population because they know that if the Americans unlock their psychic potential, they can win, but they don't want us to because they want the power and the money for themselves. Next slide, please. Over the years, the psychic population has boomed. You won't know about it because the psychic people are talking to each other psychically. The words that I'm saying right now don't mean anything. It's the thoughts that I'm emitting. It's why I'm having a hard time talking because I'm concentrating on broadcasting the actual way that we're going to win this war over the psychic waves. So hopefully the people who can understand what I'm trying to actually say are going to get that information. Now, the normal people, how many normal people are there? How many normal people do you know? I don't know any. So there's none. And kills. How many people have been killed ever? Like 8, 9? It's more than 9. So that has nothing to do with it. Again, don't worry about the words I'm saying. Worry about the words that are coming into your brain right now. It is projecting through the screen on your YouTube. Next slide, please. Now, in conclusion, the CIA and the American government is the hand. They have the entire world in their hand. And they can crush it anytime they want. But what we need to do is thank you.
Nice.
Does anyone on the panel or anyone watching at home have any questions? Dylan.
Yes, thank you for the presentation.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
There will be
Well, that's
none of
disappointing.
that. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better then.
Mr. ESP Eshley Wiseman.
Thank you very much for this. I guess I'm not sure what exactly you just went into, but I guess I just need to know, what did you think of The Expanse? You went into a lot of other television shows that you found vaguely pop culture-ish, but what about The Expanse?
I don't know anything about The Expanse.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
It's very good.
Whiskey Dick Willie.
First off, I just want to say I really appreciate the parts of your message that you sent mentally. You said a lot, but mentally, wow. Just I can't even tell you how much I appreciate that information. And I just want to ask about Putin here. I'm pretty sure is he also from another dimension? He is an alien life form entirely. Is that correct?
He is in fact from an alternate dimension, Jupiter. Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
And the Jupiter that he comes from has been ravaged by war for 600 years, and he's been leading that war for the whole time. Fortunately for us, warfare in alternate dimension Jupiter is different than warfare in this Earth. So he has no idea how to win a war. He can't even fight off a much smaller country with a much smaller military on this planet. So we actually did. The people from my dimension actually did send him over here to take care of him. And you're welcome for that, because
thank you.
He does have the technology to get across. And if he would have learned the actual ways of warfare, it would have been a much different outcome than it is now.
Yeah, he seems to have his pants around his ankles here. Is what he's got here. Yeah.
He's always what was the term you used for bend over and stick it up there?
Oh, Nick Knock Flarney Flew. Nick Knock Flarney Flew. Yeah.
That's actually his catchphrase.
Beautiful language.
Yes.
It is. We do have a couple questions from the audience. Jay Hunter would like to know OnlyFans?
Yes. onlyfans.com/Mad Mike. It does show a lot of birthmarks and insertion techniques for psychic suppositories.
Yeah, it is nice to see that in the future war you still got time to update your OnlyFans account.
Yeah.
Well, we need to fund the war somehow.
No, that's fair.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
I also have an OnlyFans, but it's just an extreme close up of my brown eye winking.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my brown eye winking. I like to have, of course. We always gotta have the Astroglide. That's right. We gotta have that. That's
The psychic version, Astroglide.
Brought a prop. All right, everybody, listen up. All the presentations are done. That was it. I hope you learned something. This is a fun one, and I know now that I was incorrect about psychic abilities. I thought they were less physical than apparently they are. They are very, very hands-on, and I did not know that. Thank you, Jay Hunter, for hanging out in the chat so long. Now, listen, guys, we got to get on to which of the members of the panel we think won this week. So what we're going to do now is each member of the panel will indicate which speaker they believe deserves to win the $50,000 grant awarded by Some Nobodies Patreon account and the Collector's Nostalgia Prize, which once again is a die-cast tiny model of a very cute Barney with goggles on. So hopefully I win this. Now, I'm going to put us all in the order. Dylan, stop it. No more psychic comments.
Oh, okay,
I'm going to put us in the order we went. I was number 1. Whiskey Dick was number 2. Dylan was number 3. Mad Mike was number 4. So with a show of fingers, when I count to 3, tell me who you think gave the most illuminating presentation tonight. In 1, 2, 3.
all right.
Let's see, we got... Uh-oh. It looks like Dylan won this week with a vote of 2 to 1 to 1. I gotta stop going first because I never win these things. Jay Hunter voted middle finger, so that's also for Dylan. So Dylan won with a vote of 3 to 1 to 1.
Animosity votes for me.
There's also a vote for H, which I believe. Oh wait, nope, that was the second. It was actually after preparation. Yeah, preparation first.
You need that after alien abductions.
Then the H. Dylan Terry, you won this week. Thank you very much for being a part of this. Now, that's going to conclude our conference for the week. Please, Dylan Terry, you won. Tell us what the topic of next week's conference is going to be on.
The difference between college and wide-ruled paper.
Oh, nice. Honestly, if we get any question
it's
at all,
marginal.
that
I'll
question.
tell you that. It's a marginal difference.
I wish you were on next week instead of this one, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. All right, listen. Now, my name is Zach, and what I do when I get paid to do this is that I ask someone to give me a new outgoing slogan. So, Mad Mike, please, what is our outgoing slogan this week?
PowerPoint me to infinity and beyond.
Oh, nice. That is a quote from the future. Whiskey Dick Willie, thank you very much for being here. Sincerely, very funny guy. I know that you are putting on a bit of a character for this, I hope. because if not, you're
Yeah.
constantly.
Unhinged.
No, I love that. If people want to find you, other than where they can find you on the show notes, I put a link to your Facebook and your YouTube page. But if people do want to find you, where can they go?
So I have Conway Comedy Facebook. Also, I have a YouTube channel, which is I think just William Conway. Those are the things that I'm on the most. I'll be performing in Albuquerque at the Guild October 10th. That's going to be an exciting theater show. So yeah.
Excellent. The Guild, is that doing like comedy in one of those medieval times?
No, so the Guild is like is a movie theater actually, but they started like doing comedy shows in the movie theater, and it's got like a balcony and everything. So
That's
it's going to
cool.
be a cool little spot. I can't
Hell
wait
yeah.
for it.
All right,
Yeah.
well, check out Mr. William Conway's YouTube page if you're around. Go see him live. The guy's funny. He also can probably fight Tito Ortiz. Let him tell you all about that. Dylan Terry, where can people hear your voice or read words that you have put into the space, the cyberspace?
Yeah, look up Some Nobodies on anything. We're on YouTube, Spotify, any podcast platform. Silicon Angels podcast show, CYOP Appeal, No Time to Binge, award-winning television watch show, kind of.
Mhm.
And we've got some other stuff in the pipe.
Yeah, it is a television talking show. Mad Mike, I appreciate the time that you spend just being here. I know you have way better things to do. Your visual, all of your faces.
Stylings.
Yeah, you're really letting us know that there are many places you'd rather be. Thank you very much for being here. Where can people find the sounds that your weird mouth flap makes?
There is literally nothing I would rather be doing right now than hanging out with you guys doing this show. But if you do need to find me other places, my goodness, this eye patch is too tight.
You left a mark.
It's cutting into your dome.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. So yeah, you can find me at Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex. It's on the Podmoth Network. It is a it's a stripped down. It's not stripped down. It's actually over bloated. Comedy, absurdist, creepy show about monsters and ghosts and lunatic rich people. Zach is on it. Dylan's on it. I think I'm gonna have to get Whiskey Dick Willie on there doing a voice because holy
That's
moly,
a character already.
Yeah,
that's a character. I don't even have to write him. I'm just gonna let him go, and that's gonna be a whole episode. So yeah, check that out anywhere you get podcasts, except for on YouTube, which we are not on because we're a heavily edited and produced comedy show. But you can go to our Patreon and get the unedited versions for as little as $1 a month. Gets you everything. We do special shows. We put up the unedited shows so you can hear all of our fucking around.
Michael's
it's a very
special
good
shirtless sessions.
all the shirtless sessions.
Yeah, that's true.
Also,
Those are
no
the ones I
video
want to
there.
see.
But I might post some nip pictures of my nipples.
Mhm.
A Patreon exclusive nipple shots. And No Time to Binge and this show right here. Yeah. So you can find me on Jack Billings Presents and then Some Nobody stuff. I'm a Some Nobody whether Zach wants it or not.
No, I used to want it. Now I desperately do not want it. Anyway,
we always need a third wheel.
that's true. This bicycle was running way too smoothly without it. Dylan Terry, where can people find us in the near future collectively?
You can find me after
Build your own house and take off the wolf when you castrate your wolf to make him less aggressive. Use those testicles to put on the back of your Crocs. I think I covered everything. Thank you for watching PowerPoint Showdown. Today's winner will receive a $50,000 grant courtesy of Some Nobodies Patreon. Congratulations on your win. Join us next week for another showdown. thanks for providing that big prize, guys.